Hello. So today we're going to look at making a money origami duck. You can make this with an actual US dollar bill, or if you take a piece of paper and cut it to 6 1/8 or about 6 inches by 2 3/4 inches, then that'll be a close enough approximation to a bill size to be able to do your folds with. A money origami duck, or a rectangular duck, is a great way to give tips, or it's graduation season, Easter season. Lots of people are getting married in the spring, so this is a perfect way to give all sorts of presents where you're going to give someone cash, which people tend to appreciate, but you're not just handing them a dollar bill. And it's even better if you have like a bunch of 20s, and you can do a bunch of 20s, and it depends what your budget is. If you have to do a bunch of ones, that's fine too, whatever you're able to fold. But in my case, I have a wedding coming up, so $100 bills are what I think is appropriate for the people who are getting married. So, and you could do it all sorts of different sizes. If you want to do half size to make some baby ones, you would only do that with paper because you wouldn't want to cut dollar bills up, but just, fold it in half and in half, and that will get you a half size to be able to do the littler duck. All right, so let's see how to fold a money origami or rectangular duck. And my cat Zuzu has decided that this is the only place she could possibly be right now, so we are just going to work around the Zuzu challenge. Alright, so first off, we're going to fold it in half to create a starting fold. So you just match up one of the corners, match up the other corner. I always start at the middle and then drag your finger down to the two ends, and then unfold it. Alright, we're going to start at one of the short ends. We're going to fold one of the corners in so that the edge comes along this middle line. So we'll do this slowly. See how that rotates around? So fold the corner in, and as it goes in, this top side will come in and come along the center line there. It's okay to go slow. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to get that top to come into this point, and this will rotate around to be along this center line. Alright, just like that. Alright, so now you got the top 2 points done. Next, on this side, we're going to take this long side here, this diagonal, and also bring it in along the center line. We're forming the head area right now. So this will come around and come to the center line. So we are folding. Can help to stick a finger into that corner to get something to fold around. And just bring that around so that comes along the centerpiece. And then again, I tend to start at the middle and crease in one direction and then crease in the other direction. All right, we're going to do the same thing on this side, so you'll see how it works again. This outer diagonal is going to come in along the center line. And again, I tend to stick a finger into that inner corner to help turn around it. Stick this finger in this inner corner to help turn around it. And that connects, just like that. All right, so we're folding in the head area. So now we're going to work on the tail. To do the tail, we're going to turn this upside down, so that all the folds we just did are on the bottom side. And we're going to take this top point and fold it down just like we were doing before. So this top edge comes along the center line. So the top one comes down. Alright, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to fold that up so that meets up in that area. Kitty, you're making this a little challenging. That is the role of a kitty. Sorry. To make a little challenge in the world. Right. So we've got one end, which is the tail end, which is folded 2 down on one side, and on the other side we've got the one end, which is the head end. Alright, so now we're going to turn it to the side that has the tail end, And we are going to fold the head up in half so that that touches up and the tip of that point. And just crease it. So we folded the whole thing in half so that the point of the head end comes down to the point of the tail end. Alright, so it should look like that on one side and that on the other side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half lengthwise. And probably helps to see it if you have the longer triangles on top, which is the head part. We're going to fold it in half across the spine. So just like that. See how that is folding in half? Alright, so now we've got this piece folded in half. And if you look at the existing ducks, you can sort of see where we're going. That over there is the little tail part in there. And this up here is going to become the head part in a second. So this next part may be a little tricky, so you can watch it and then rewind. So what we're going to do is see how this piece sort of moves and that inner part unfolds a little bit to help that rotate around. We're going to make this neck part point straight up. So just gently pull on the head, let that middle part rotate, and once it gets to a place, where it is pretty much straight up, then you want to crease it there. So you can just hold it with one of your hands and then crease down so that is sharp so that it stays. And you can have the neck a little forward, a little up, a little backwards, it's up to you. I tend to put them pretty much straight up and down. Alright, so now we've got the tail, and then we've got, here, I'll do it a little more. And the neck is up. Right, so now we need to make the head. So this is a reverse fold. So here what I'll do is I'll put this down so that this is flat. So do you see how the head is pointing to the right? So first what we're going to do is we're going to take this pointy head and we're going to rotate it so that it folds off pointing to the right. And you could do a little head or a big head, it's up to you. It doesn't matter exactly, but you want it to look sort of like that. Sort of like a duck head. So fold it to a level where you are reasonably happy with it, and once you've got it looking good, where the bottom of the head is pretty much parallel to the back of the bird, then you give it a crease there. So I'm just pressing down to crease that. Alright, so you see how the back of the bird is sort of parallel to the bottom of the head shape. Alright, so that crease is just to get it started. Now comes the inside fold part. So we're going to point it back up away from us again. And then what we're going to do is, see how it's open along the back of the neck? We're going to stick our fingers in this, and we're going to get it to fold on those creases we just made. So we made the crease shapes, and we're going to get it to fold on those two creases. See how it's folding around in there? Just give it little wiggles to get it to ease in on that thing. And once you do that, then it is now on the outside on both the sides. And you have now got the duck head on the outside in both. Let me just wiggle that a little to get that more in. So it might take a little wiggling, especially with dollar bill money paper, which is a little thicker than origami paper, but you should be able to get it to come out like this. So we are getting very close to the end of the duck shape. The difference is that the duck has a little in and out for the bill shape. So we're going to do something very similar with just the tip of the bill. And again, it doesn't matter how long or short you do it. This is an aesthetic thing. So we're going to fold it in. I tend to do about that much. A little more. You fold that back towards the tail. And this is just a preliminary fold, but give it a nice good crease so that it helps with this next part. Unfold it. What we're going to do is open up the underside of the beak a little bit That's the underbeak. We're going to push in on the nose so that it folds under. So we're folding it under along that crease we made. Now if we wanted to, we could just leave it like that. But I like to then fold a little bit of the tip back out again. So it makes a little zigzag so that there is a little tip of the beak poking out. Alright, and this is something that you're going to have to crease a bit to get it to lay flat. You can see it's a little fluffy, but if you crease it or stick it under a book or something like that for a short while, it will flatten down and be able to lay flat for you. So again, this is something you can easily do with most bill shapes. It works for US bills, and it should work reasonably fine for other bill shapes. It can work with pieces of paper that you've cut to a bill shape, and it can work for little pieces of paper that you cut to half the length and half the height of a bill. And again, that is 6 1/8 wide about by 2 3/4 high about. So let me know if you have any questions about making a money origami duck, and let me know what other shapes you'd like to see. And thank you to Zuzu for being so enormously helpful.